So we will show the orders here in the order page, and as you see it will be something like that. We should have our list item. Once we click on the list, we should have to the option for the download invoice, and also we can see the other properties like the order value, price and others. So we're going to create this scenario. To implement that, it's pretty simple, as we are having the orders. So the best things which we require right now we are having with us. So first thing first, I'm going to remove that console, and after that on that particular div, instead of the div, I'm going to make it as a container. And on that container, the work it will start pretty much for sure. So here I'm gonna make like we're gonna define if we have the orders and if we doesn't have the orders. So in both sense our thing's going to work. So what we're gonna do, like say if we have the orders dot length, and if we have the order dot length, length, if we have that length, then we're gonna just pass, let's say passing a card here right now from our components, and just passing a p tag. So let's say orders available, or you can just keep it as orders. And if it doesn't have the orders, I'm going to return another div portion here, and then I'm going to make an h2 here which will say no orders found. So that would be something like that. And for the container also, let's just go and make some portion here which will be class name, and padding y should be 10. Okay, so as we are having the orders, it will not be visible, so I'm gonna just go and put in null check. So you will see the things which going to circulate. As you see, no orders found. So right now what we're gonna do here is that in that particular div instances, we're gonna just create a class name. Everything I'm gonna click create is a flex, should be flex column, item center, justify center, padding y should be let's say 5, md padding y should be 10. Okay, it should not be clone. Okay, then after that also we're gonna render something in a good way. So that should be, let's say we're gonna make it like padding x should be 4. That's it. So that's the one it will be aligned. And for that h2 tag, before h2 I also want an icon, should be file x, and here in that icon class name height should be 24, width should be 24, and also I'm gonna make it like text should be gray of 400, and after that margin bottom should be 4 here. So that text that's the icon, and now we're gonna render the text in a proper way. It could be like class name, text should be 2XL, font should be semi bold, and by the way we can just, instead of rendering that, we can just render our title. I think it's the similar proportion of that. That's it. So no orders found, and we're having the icon, so a p tag, and it will say it looks like you HAVE, and it should be an oppose. So you haven't an oppose, you haven't placed any orders yet. Start shopping to see your orders here. Okay, and after that I'm gonna just render another button here. In the button we're gonna render a linked properties. So that link going to say us browse products, and also for that link properties the href should be /home, and button should be work as a child, and the class name should be margin top should be 6, so empty 6. That's it. So now as you see, okay, that looks cool. And for the p tag itself, we're gonna make it like class name, and margin top should be 2, and also text should be small, text should be gray of 600, and after that we're gonna make that text should be center, and we're gonna make a max with MD. So the medium with would be like a MD screen, and that could be around 448 pixel or 28 RAM. So that's the places. If we doesn't have any orders, it will showcase like that. But right now we have the orders, so we will see our order view. As you see, the curly embracing things is here, which is coming from the card itself. We can have that. I think we're gonna have that one by default, so it's coming from the card behavior. Now what we're gonna do in our, whenever we are having the card, we also by default we're gonna just pass that width should be full. We can just render if anything go ups and down, and then we're gonna pass our card header should be card header, And in the card header, we're gonna pass that card title. Card title, on the title itself, it will say order list, like that. So now we are having the order list, and for the title text itself, we can make that similar our proportion to text 2XL, MD text should be 3XL. That's it. So now we have our order list text. And after the order list text, we should be having another portion like after below of that card header, we should be having that our card content. So card content. In the card content, everything I'm gonna keep on that scroll area properties, and this scroll area is not important. I think we didn't take it. Yeah, we take it. Scroll area is right there. So that would be scroll area. So it will be scrollable. So class name, which should be also, I'm going to define it as full. Now we're going to pass a table value, right? So first we're going to take the table, and within that table, we're going to have our table header. So table header, and not the table head, should be table header. Okay. So what we are doing right now is that everything, you see the order number, date, customer, and that email, total, status, invoice number. Also, if you go in our minimizing that value by itself, you can see every value is working perfectly. So it's also like for responsive for a smaller screen. That's how we are going to build it. Even for this portion here, it's also responsive. Even you go in the smaller screen, it will be acting like a fully responsive view. So that's how we're going to click that using the table. So for the table, we are having the table, and in the table header, first we're going to define the table header, and after that also you're going to have that we're going to pass our table content, and that's how we're going to render each and everything. So now in the table header, we're going to pass that our table row. So every row properties, it's going to first get that table head. So in that head properties, we're going to pass that order number. Okay, so you're gonna see the first one as coming as the order number, and after the order number we're gonna have a multiple properties. So I'm gonna just copy paste some of that. Okay, so now okay, and I think instead of keeping that value here, we can just remove the value, and I'm gonna take multiple. So first it will be our order number, then it will be our date itself, and after that, after the date, we're gonna pass the customer. So the customer itself, it's gonna providing the email here, and then we're gonna also getting the email. I think we are having separating a customer email. Yeah, both we are taking in a separate way. So customer email, and after that we're gonna have the total properties, and after total we will having a status value, and after status value also we're gonna pass that our invoice number. So that's the total properties here. So like this similar here. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna also create in a responsive way for the table header itself. For right now, we're gonna put a class name where I'm gonna keep that width for like 100 pixel, and also MD should be width auto. Okay, so first in that smaller screen, it will take minimum width of 100 pixel. Later on, it's gonna take a width auto whenever it's needed, because it can be bigger. As you see, the number can be flexible as the way it's supposed to be. Now for the date, it will not available all the time. So right now we're gonna make it hidden in the smaller screen. MD should be table cell. Okay, and after that for the customer also, I think customer, okay, good. We're gonna make that, we're gonna put the name, but for email it's not required for the smaller screen. Same thing, should be hidden. MD should be table cell, like that. And for the invoice number, we're gonna do the right things also for it. The similar thing should be hidden for a smaller screen, and SM table cell. So I think this one for the customer, we can now, instead of MD, we can put it in SM. From the smaller screen it can be visible. So if we just make it a lower screen right now here, you see, okay, cool. This order number, you can just make that one like, you can just keep, you know, you can just make that one as order. You can also, it will be perfect in that way also. So it's up to you. These little small things you can concat and make the way it's supposed to be. Also, you can do one thing is that, like if you can just make that what you can say for line clamp, I think we can keep line clamp 1, and it will also work in that way. No, it will not go. So you either you need to provide a bigger width, or you can just go in like that. I think 100 is not enough, that's why if we just make that with auto, I think with auto will save the purpose. Maybe, yeah, with auto is saving the purpose. So I think, yeah, no need to provide that with 100. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's working. So you're just removing that width. Now what you're gonna do, as we are having that particular product itself, so after the table header we need to pass our table content, so that it should be the value of the properties. Now for that table cell, you know, each and every table cell, it will be different. As you see, once you click, it will open that particular product value. So that's, we need to go and combine. I'm going to create a separate component for it, and that should be our orders component. By that way we will be able to capture the click in a very good way. So should be orders component.tsx or FCE. So or FCE, that would be our order components. And here in that passing value, what we're gonna do after the table, we're gonna just import that one right here. Should be orders component. Okay, it should not like that. Orders component, and here, as you know, we have the orders. We're gonna just pass the orders right here, so the orders, it will just follow through. And after that, as you see in that proportion, we're gonna also pass a scroll bar. So scroll bar, and that scroll bar, we're gonna pass an orientation, which should be horizontal. That's it. So that should be an, or as you see now, it's going to be orientation in proper way. Now in that order components, why we separate it? Because we need to make that one as a use client. And why we're gonna do that? Because remember, because we need to click on that particular instances, that's clickable event, we need to embed it here. So we cannot do it indirectly here in our orders page. So that's why we separate that concern, because we're grabbing the orders in our server side. Now we are taking that other properties in the client side, which is really much needable. In that similar way, we can just have a good value in our application layer. Now instead of, we can, as we are having the orders, we can just combine the orders here, and that's where the order should be my underscore the orders query result, which is embedded there. And also we need one more properties. We're gonna just grab it right now, which should be selected order, and it should be set selected order. So that one we will just call it using the use state hook. And of course, as we need to import, as we're using the state hook, we need to make it as a use client property, otherwise it gonna popping up in the error. So right now in that properties here, for I'm gonna make that instances right now, as you see, it will be null, so nothing is selected. So let's just go and create our other property. So instead of keeping in a div, remember all the things, it should be like the table body, right? As you see, we have our table head, like you can see the table structure. In the table we have the table header, so that's everything is putting at the top as the table header. Now what you need to do, we need to pass our table body, so that's what we are going to create right now. So let's go here, it should be table body. Okay, so now in the table body we're gonna inject everything, but there is one catch is here. On the hover, as you see, is saying click to see all the details. And why we're doing that, so right now maybe you don't know what is that, where you're gonna see the view, right? So once you hover, you see click to see all the details, so you're gonna click it. So that's just a hidden message which we are passing to our customers. We need to combine it to our the value which by which we're gonna use our tooltip, right? So after the table body, we're gonna pass our value for our tooltip provider. So tooltip provider okay, should be coming from our UI tooltip. And after that, remember we have our orders, we're gonna map through it, and then we're gonna pass order by itself, so single order, and from there we're gonna return, and we're gonna return our tooltip, because the tooltip, it should be our top layer, right? So tooltip, then we should be having our tooltip trigger, and after the tooltip trigger we're gonna pass our table row. Okay, so it's gonna wrapping everything by itself, and with that it should be passing that table cell, and on that first table cell we're gonna pass that our order dot order number, why is not coming up with a particular class name properties we defined, but it's not visible. If we say order, let's say it should be order dot order number. No, it's not coming. That's not so cool. If we go, should be orders. Yeah, let's define the type, and what is saying it's not assignable to a value of that. Okay, I think we are missing something. Okay, first we will see if we can see anything. Let's say we're gonna pass that order number. That should be aligned, right? And also we're gonna pass a key. So the key should be, let's say, order dot order number. I think why we are not seeing that, if we save it, yeah, there is the number. 2 orders is there, so we have the 2 value, right? Okay, we are missing something. Cannot be, okay, child button. Okay, I think we are missing some properties. So here in the tooltip trigger, every trigger should be passing as a child property, so that error is fixed. Now the problem is here. Okay, we can also remove that as we are not using, so we are mapping through our orders, right? So also we can log our orders. So log should be our orders, and let's see, as is the client side properties. So let's go here and see what is, yeah, this is an array, and here we have our property, we have the order number, we have all the value by itself designed, but why it's not supporting that? Okay, the order is the micro. Okay, that should not be like that. Could be we are missing any problem. Orders.map, we are taking everything as an order, and if we hover, order does not exist on the type. Okay, I think it could be the problem once we are just remember, we once we run that our like the type gen, later on we modify our orders, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write the type gen again, so it should be npm run type gen. Okay, I'm gonna render it again. I think that could cause the problem because we change some of that. If we just go in that index properties here for our, I think it should be not in the schema types, but we in the query itself. So if we go in our queries, we change it here, right? So but are we extracting the file before that? So that could be causing the problem because it actually doesn't know what kind of things going to be predefinedly handled here. So that's why it's just you know, describing the error. So if you are facing the same thing, just generate again. I think that can solve the issue. As you see, that's good. So because we changed that one, but we generate the type properties before, so now we are having everything. So the first itself, it should be like the order number. So order number, and then we're gonna make the slice on that. So slice, we want to show the last 10 of that, so last 10, and here if it's not available, it should be not available. That's it. So now we have that order number, and also after that we will just make that dot dot dot, so we know there is more on that. I think if it's last 10, we can just keep it like that. So the last 10 digits should be available, and so we have the order number. Now we can also render some properties. If we go back to the table cell, it should be that cursor should be pointer, cursor pointer, and hover bj should be gray of 100, and height should be 12. We're gonna just make a randomized height. You see, once you hover, it's just getting that actual value. Okay, so after that table row, we're gonna also pass some other properties. So there is one table cell, there should be multiple table cell by itself. So now here we're gonna take another table cell. In that table cell, we're gonna pass our order date. So should be, let's say, order that order. I think it should be the order date. Yeah, order date, and if that date is available, we want to make it as a format. So it should be format, and in that particular format itself, it should be new, and then I think the format we need to use the Date-fns. So if we go here in our npm, we will use a simple package which is the Date-fns, Also, you can dig down about that package. You can see it's very simple and tiny package, but it's doing a lot of things here. You see, Date-fns provides the most comprehensive yet simple and consistent toolset for manipulating JavaScript builds in a browser and Node.js. It's more than 1 million downloads per week, so it's a very good and stable version here. So I'm gonna copy that, and in my terminal I'm gonna just install that one. Okay, so that format should be available from the Date-fns. So after, okay, I need to run that our legacy path dependency, as we are using that React 19, so it will go like that. That's it. So now after installing, we should be having this property available. And by the way, while it's running that, we can just go and throw on another table cells. And now what we can do, you see, for the responsiveness what we create for this, that should be followed through here also. Okay, otherwise it will break that properties. Okay, so right now I'm gonna take another table cell, and in that table cell itself, table cell here, after the date, we're gonna pass that customer name should be order.customer name, and that should be customer name. Okay, so I think it's installed already, so let me just import that one. If it's coming in automatically, okay, otherwise I need to import it manually. So I'm just go at the top, and I'm going to import it manually. So import, that should be format from, and that would be Date-fns. Right now here, as we have the date, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna combine that date properties. We're gonna get the date value from there. So it should be a new date, and from that new date, we're gonna pass our order dot order date. And on that order date, we want to which functionality it will provide through. It would be day, then month, then year. So in that combination, it will render true. Okay, what's the problem? Invalid date value. Why? The format, that's the format we combine from there. I think that should work as we install that. And what's the things we done? So if the order date available, I think, yeah, it should be out of that value, maybe. Yeah, it should be out of that properties. Okay, so now we have the date properties. You see the day is the first, so you can just align how the way you like. And also we have the customer name. Now as we did that, we have the customer name. We can now generate our email. So we're gonna just make that another table cell, and here we're gonna make that our order dot email. That's it, and email is available. Now we need to find our total value, right? So what we're gonna do after another this one, it should be table cell. In that table cell, we're gonna find our price formatter properties. Here we're gonna pass our amount value should be order dot total price, and save it. So as you see, we have our total price, and also we can grab our status property. So let's say table cell, here we can combine. So if we have our order dot status, and if the status, if it's available, only then we're gonna render that. And here we're gonna okay, it should not be this span, should be span tag here. So in that particular span properties, we're gonna go in like that. If we have that, we can now make that order dot status. Okay, just provide the status. As you see, is paid, so we can see the paid version of it. So now what we're gonna do, we can combine some of the properties for that span tag. For design structure, you're gonna put a class name, and right now we're gonna go with our like the backtick. So padding x should be 2, padding y should be 1, padding y should be 1, and rounded should be full, text should be extra small, and then font should be semi-bold. So you can see the value is changed. And after that, we will combine one condition here. If the order dot status is equal to paid, only then we're gonna have something, otherwise we're gonna have something. You can just pass a multiple scenario, but we're gonna use that only 2 scenario here. BJ should be, let's say, green of 100, and then text should be green of 800. If it's not paid, then we're gonna pass that background color should be yellow of 100, and also text should be yellow of 800. Okay, so now you see it's already paid. I think that's the similar effect is here. If it's not paid, if we just make that null check here, as you can see, that should be that one. So with that properties, we know which one is paid and which one is not. That's simple. Now we will pass our invoice number. It's also very simple. So we're gonna take another table cell. So table cell, and in that table cell we're gonna pass, if we have our order.invoice, if we have the invoice number, we're gonna pass a p tag, or we can just instead of p tag, yeah, we want p tag because we will use some of the classy properties here. That should be, if we have our order.invoice, then we're gonna pass our order.invoice. If we doesn't have that, we're gonna just simply go and make that dash 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 dash. Why? Okay, what happened? There is some value which is okay, I think. Okay, invoice, and if we have that invoice, should be generating the number value, because otherwise it will not there. So if we doesn't have any invoice number, if we go in, just make it upside down, you see the value is not generating if we have the order, because right now we have the order invoice number. Okay, so that's why it will go and combine. So we can check it here, as you see, dot dot dot. Now as we refreshing like down those things, also like after the tooltip trigger, we can now pass that our tooltip content. So tooltip content, and in that tooltip content we're gonna pass a p tag, should be, or instead of p tag it will just render a simple text value that should be click to see order details. That's it. If I hover through it, as you see, very simple and it's cool. You know, we can now see the value to just making an influential properties. Right now, this just need to design a fixable things so that it could be understandable. So for the first one, the table cell here, for the order number, put a class name, font should be, let's say, medium. First one could be the medium font. And for our date properties also, because first it will not be available, right? So by default it would be hidden, and MD screen should be table cell. So that's the same context it will be given here. And for the customer name, it will be available, remember, but for our email it will not be expected to be there, so it should be hidden. MD should be table cell. So that's how we are going to work on that. And the email, and after the email, total price value, the price, it would be there always. So as you see in the price formatter properties, we can pass some class name here. Text should be black and font should be medium. By default it's getting some property, but we're gonna make it as medium. So I think right now, as we are having that one more properties, I'm gonna just copy this one from here, because the invoice will also contain the similar property like that. If we go in this smaller screen by itself, as you see, it just gone, and our other value it just popping up. So now we're good. But once we click on that particular properties, we should be having something. And what we're gonna have, first of all, we're gonna create a function here, or we can just make it an inline function. So as you see in the table row, once we're clicking on that, like if we on click on that, we're gonna run a simple function, and we say, let's say set selected order. Oh, I need to uncomment that. So it should be set selected order. Selected order should be passing as order. So the order value would be selected, and you see the error is coming from here is because we need to pass the type save value here. So what I'm gonna do in that curly braces, we're gonna pass that could be my orders properties here, and also it would be a number value. Number, if it's available, okay, it would be number. If it's not available, it can be a null value. Okay, so done. So we're gonna have a selected properties whenever we're gonna click on that, and now we can get another properties. I will just create another file over here that could be for our orders dialog. I think we keep the name as order dialogs. I think it should be order details dialog. I think, yeah, should be order details dialog.tsx. Now this would be initialized once we're gonna just effectively click any of the order, and if it's save and then. And now what we're gonna do, you see that after the tooltip provider below that table body, so that's why we're having that empty braces. We're gonna pass that our order details, like details dialog. DETA, okay. There is some typo mistake, so I can just make let's just correct that one. Should be DETA. AI. Okay, I think now it can make sense. And also I'm gonna rename it, just copy that and here paste it. Okay, yes, and then paste it, and paste should be this one. And also we're gonna just make it that one. Okay, oops, should not be that one. Okay, and the other one we're gonna just remove it. Okay, good. So now what we can do, as we are having that, I'm gonna make reload, so it's an error, it should be disappear. So now we have the order details dialog. So right now what's happening here, it's just passing that div cannot be a child of a table. Okay, where that's the one, so we are not passing that one as an equal div. So from where it's coming, if we just remove that, okay, it's just coming from there. No worries, we can fix that. So here what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass the order, and the order should be our selected order, and also we're gonna pass is open properties. So when it's going to be open, right? So it will be open once we are having that, like if we have that selected order, only then it will open. And also we're gonna create an onClose event function here, should be okay, that should be similar of that. Set selected order should be null. So anytime we are having, like as you see, if we just make reload right now, it will be available every time, but first it will not be there. If we click only the selected value, it will be available, then it would be visible, right? So now what we're gonna do, we can just need to pass those properties in this layer. So I'm gonna just simply passing that properties. First of all, I'm gonna create one like one types here, should be, let's say, interface. I'm gonna pass it as a props, as everything going to be coming as a props properties, and that prop should be, the order should be my underscore orders queries, and after that, and from there we're gonna take that number value. It could be available or it could be null property. Okay, that's the one. Then we have our is open, it should be a boolean value, and then we are going to having an onClose event function, which is typically a void function, so void. Right now in this order dialog box, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pass that should be, let's say, FC, and that FC should be coming from React, the functional component, and then we're gonna pass our props properties. We don't want all, we want that single variable. Now from there we will take, like we have the order, we have our is open, we have our onClose properties. Okay, done. Now if there is no order, we can just go and predefine a value. If doesn't having any order, we will just return the value as null, because it will say nothing. Okay, so it will not be available. Right now we are having the order as we are having the selected value, so it will be available, but you see now it's null. If we click, it's available, so it's passing here. Now what you're gonna do, instead of the div here, we're gonna open a dialog. Okay, that should be UI dialog, and that dialog would be responsible to render this entire thing. So let's just passing the dialog, and from there we're gonna pass that our dialog content should be dialog content, and on that dialog content should be dialog header, and on that header should be our dialog title. Okay, so in the title we will pass our order details, and that should be, let's say, order number. That's it. Now when it gonna open, once the open is clicked, is open, so it will be is open value, it will be open, and on open change we can just make that as onClose event. So we're gonna pass that onClose value here. So right now as you see, that's you see the way it's like. If we click, okay, cool, so we have the properties, we can now make that one in a proper shape. So now in the content value, what we're gonna do, we're gonna render a class name properties here. The max width should be, let's say, 4 pixel, and max height, we're gonna provide a maximum height of 90 VH. So it will be like 10% opacity in the entire site from bottom 10, bottom 5, top 5. It's gonna just reduce the 10 VH from there. So it will just like a 90% height it will take. And overflow Y, let's say overflow Y should be scroll, not like that. Content should be scroll. Okay, so that's how it gonna work. So now as we are having that properties, so what I'm gonna do after that container, we're gonna having some value, because you see in the header itself we're gonna having some properties. You see this entire things is in the header, that is the scrollable value here. So now these things also going to be coming up at the top. Now after the title, like after, or you can just combine after the header. So we can just pass a div here, pass a p should be a strong tag, and on that strong tag naming the customer name, and here it's gonna passing that like it would be our order dot customer name. So you can see the customer name available here. I think it should be out of our strong tag. Okay, the key should be in that, but other it should be like that. Okay, cool. I think we are having the similar effect. So, you know, this things is going good. Also for this one, for the particular div, class name margin top should be 4. So it will be a little bit a downgrade from the header. And after those properties, we're gonna now I'm gonna copy that, because I'm gonna having in the customer, we're gonna pass our email, and here it should be order dot email. Okay, we have our email, and after that properties we should be having our date. So there should be multiple instances. I'm gonna just copy some more. So we have the email. After that email we're gonna have our order date, and in that order date we can just passing the value here. So if we need to go in the null check properties. If we have the order dot order date, and it could be coming as a new date, you can use the fn function also here, so it can get a proper value here. So order dot order date, and we can just pass that to local date string. So we can also do this fashion. Okay, there is a lot of things we can combine. You see now it's coming like that, but if you go with the fns, you see it's coming like that. So it's up to you which one you are preferring, right? So I'm not forcing you to go anywhere. You just depends how the way you like, just arrange that. Now after the email we should be passing our status of this order, status. And for the status should be let's say if we are having that our status, we can render that in a span tag itself, should be span tag, and here we're gonna pass our order dot status. And for the status we're gonna also combine some class name here. For the class name I'm gonna make it a capitalize, and also text should be, let's say, green of 600, and font should be medium. Okay, now we're gonna pass our invoice number. So here it should be invoice number. Hit save, and now we're gonna pass our invoice number here. So order invoice then number. So that's the invoice number which we are having right now. And after that we should be having that download invoice button itself. So what we're gonna do after that particular p tag, we're gonna have a condition. If we have the order dot invoice and only then we're gonna render that. We're gonna render a button. On that button we're gonna just pass a several condition here. If we have order dot invoice dot hosted invoice URL, and we're gonna just render a link properties, because we want to pass that in a separate positioning. Here we're gonna pass the text of that download invoice, and on that link itself we will just pass a conditioning. The href should be the href, so it should be href. The href should be, let's say, order dot invoice dot hosted invoice URL, and I want it to be target like I want it to be to target in a blank page. I don't want it to open in the same page. And you see, if you click here, it will open our invoice URL. So there is a hosted URL there. You can just console log and you can get everything. So Toulouse YouTube, and you see the value is right there. You can download it, you can download the receipt, and if you click invoice, you see it will download in your link itself here. As you see right now, if I click here, it's open. So I have all the details value. You can also go and pay online, and you can just grab the hosted URL as a page, so it will not coming back with a particular instances. Okay, so right now for this one, it's not looks good. It's coming in a black properties, which is not aligned with those scenarios. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make it a little bit lighter. So here, let's say I'm gonna pass a variant here. So the variant should be, let's say, outline. I think that will do the purpose. Yeah, okay, cool. Okay, and also I can make that for this one, or I can overall go here and let's say space Y should be 1. So everything going to be a little bit a difference here. And for the button here, we can pass some class name. Margin top should be 2, just a bit of lower. Okay, it's not coming. Margin 2. Anyway, I think it will work. Okay, right now what we need to do, have to passing that product, like product, quantity and price. There's 2 separate values should be aligned here. And to do that, after that div itself, so after finishing that div, we're gonna have another table here, and on the table we're gonna pass our table header. The similar things, as you know, it's just going to in a similar page, so should be table row itself. And here we're gonna pass a table head, and on that that one should be header. Okay, should be header. So now in the table head, first one, it should be passing the product. I'm gonna copy twice, so it should be another one should be passing as quantity, and then the last one, it should be passing our price value. So as you see, we have 3 properties: product, quantity, price. So right now for this one, I think for okay, it will concate that. Also, you're gonna create a flexible properties. Now after that table header once is passing by, we also need to passing that table body. So in the table body, what we're gonna do, remember in the order we have our products. So from that products, we're gonna map through. Again, I'm saying if you don't know from where I'm taking, make a console log. You're gonna make it sense from where I'm getting that. So product and everything I'm gonna passing as an index property, because to pass the key value. So right now what I want, I'm gonna pass that table row itself here. So every single thing going to passing a row. Then you're gonna pass the table cell properties, and from that first table cells, we're gonna passing that if we have that product dot images. So if the product dot images, if that image is available, only then we want to passing our image property. So that image, we will pass the source key should be URL4, and on that particular value, it should be the product dot images, and we want the first images to be seen, and then provide me the URL. So the URL would be aligned here, and also for the alter property should be, let's say, product image, and we're gonna provide a width of 50 and also the height of 50, and also putting a class name. We're gonna make a border, and rounded should be SM, like that. So you see that image is coming here, but it's highlighting and it's getting overflow here. No worries, we can fix that. So right now I think we make it everything at the top as a scrollable view, but why is breaking by itself? Over scroll, not over scroll, should be overflow. Okay, that was the problem. So now you can see it's overflowing. Okay, cool. And you can do one thing, you can make it fixable value, and then you can pass the product. I'm not making it fixable because as you see, it will just render in a different way, so I can just go and move like that. So now we are having that in the table row itself. We can now need to be providing the key. That key should be the index value, and I think we can also pass the product dot key or ID, but as you see, I don't want to make console log. I'll just go with the index properties. Okay, cool. So now we are running here. We provide a height, width. We can also make as let's say object contain, or we can make it object cover so that it will fixable. Okay, it's not so good. Okay, we can make in a different way. Put a table cell. Here I'm going to make it a flex item center, put a gap of 2 because there should be 2 separate items. After the image we're going to have another. If we have that product dot product product, and then we're gonna passing a separate value which is going to be, let's say, product dot name. That's the value which we're going to pass itself. I think the image is not, as you see, this is the bigger but this is the smaller, so I think we need to fix that. And how we can fix that, we can pass a like width of 20 and height of 20. Let's grab this one. Let's see how it looks. Okay, we can fix that right in this way. So we will pass the width of not 20 but 14 and height of 14. Let's go, and I think good. And object should be cover, or first say in the content. I think content good. Okay, now it's good. Also, if you want to, like, once you click, we want to provide that in the single page, it's up to you. You can direct that one with the ID, but I will not do that right now because we will go in a simple page here. So we have these properties, and right now, as you see, we can pass that one in a value of a span tag. So let's say, or we can just pass that in a p tag because I want that to be in a line clamp. Remember, if we have our like a bigger value here, that text can be overlapped. So put a class name, it should be line clamp 1, so it will not go bigger than 1. So now we have our product. Then we need to pass our quantity, which we're gonna do in a separate cell. So it should be table cell, and in that table cell we're gonna pass that value as, let's say, product dot quantity. So we know how much quantity we are just by passing from there. And after that, we're gonna have another table cell. On that table cell we're gonna pass that our price formatter. So let's say price formatter, and in that formatter we're gonna pass our as a class name. It should be text should be black and font should be medium. Okay, why we did that first? Font should be medium, and we're gonna pass the amount. That amount should be our product, then price. That's it. So we know how much price is there, but there is a catch because that price should be multiplied with the quantity. So should be into product dot quantity. And okay, I think we need to make that one as the null check. So here we can combine as this one going to be running here. So we will just make that if we have our product dot product, or you can, if the product is available only, then we want to render. No, it will not go in that way. So product dot price and product dot quantity. Okay, just putting a check here. So if we have multiple quantity of single instances, so we know it will just added to that. If we go here, you see that's the value. If we have 16, it will go in the 16 properties. And for that one thing, you can just make it in a center align. I think we can go here. So this one, put a class name, text should be center. Yeah, it can coming in the center, but right now I'm going to keep it the same way it is. So you can how to change that, and how can you can swipe the other value. And after that, at the bottom we can have, okay, there is a typo mistake. Now we can fix that in this ratio. So our table is done here, right? After this table, I'm going to take another div, and on the div I'm going to take another portion. And from here, if we have our order dot amount discount, if is bigger than 0, means we are having our discount, only then we want to render. What we want to render? We want to render a div. Okay, it should be is 0. So whenever we're gonna having a discount properties, we want to render that, and here we're gonna pass the strong tag, which gonna pass that discount key. So as you see, it gonna come up at the okay. This one have no discount. Order dot amount discount, because we doesn't this discount will be amplified if we are having any like for promotion or others, only then it will be available. So I'm gonna just go and putting a null check value just to see how it gonna render. You see the discount tag here, we're gonna pass our price formatter. So let's say it should be price formatter, and here let's say the amount should be our order dot amount discount. So that could be right there. Right now it's 0. It's okay, fine. So after that, also in that div itself, I'll just remove the null check value here. So after these properties, after these instances, I'm gonna take another, like if we doesn't have okay, so here we can pass the value here. So right now, if we have our order, and then if we have our amount discount properties, and same thing, if it's not equal to 0 and we want to render another div, but this time we'll go and make a flexible value with that properties, which should be passing another strong tag. And here we're gonna pass our subtotal value, and that subtotal value, it should be passing that our price formatter. Now that should be I think price formatter, yeah, price formatter. And here the amount should be the order dot total price, which is coming as a number. Now we're gonna pass that properties here, and instead of writing here like that, we can wrap it with our first bracket properties, and then we're gonna go apply sign because we want to pass that to add that together. So that should be order dot discount amount as number. Okay, so now we should be having, right now we are having nothing itself, it's C. So total, subtotal and total, I think the variance is coming in a different way. So first I'm gonna showcase the total, then we will see why it's not running that in this similar fashion. So first I'm going to pass that strong tag, and then we're going to pass our total value itself, and after that we're going to make that price formatter. Here we're going to pass our amount. The amount should be order dot total price. Let's see, yeah, we see the amount. And for this one, put a class name, then text should be black and font should be bold, which is right now having that. So right now what we're gonna do also for that div, all of that itself, put a class name which should be full of flex item center justify between. Right now it's gonna just stretch together, but what I'm gonna do in the top layer of the div, put a class name which should be margin top should be 4, margin top 4, and then text should be right align and flex item center justify end. So it will push that everything at the end. And here itself on that div layer, let's say here, put a class name which are going to be, I'm gonna provide a width of 44 and flex column and put a gap of 1. So you see it's coming all together. Okay, right. So right now you can see all the value itself. It's just underlying here. So we have the total price, and I think it's good to go. But now this amount discount. So what I want to just check the order itself. Why, like where is our discount is underlying. So I'm gonna just go here and make a log for our order. Okay, so let's open our terminal. And from there in the object, so let's say in the discount amount is we having the discount amount discount is empty, so means we have nothing. So right now what we're gonna do, we're gonna create a coupon here to create our discount. Let's go back to our Stripe dashboard so that we will be able to create a coupon, and we need to sign in. I think it will take our previous structure. Okay, yeah, it's our previous sign-in is still valid. So right now, as you see, we have our product catalog. I think it would be in the product catalog. On the coupons, we should be able to see one coupons. Right now we have no coupons, so I will create a coupon here. So the coupon name, it should be, let's say, New Year. So the New Year coupon, New Year. So the percentage discount should be 20% flat discount, and I'm going to keep it like that. So create a coupon, so 20% in that New Year flag. And right now once we click on that, as you see, we need to provide a promotion code. So I'm gonna add the code, should be new_year. So anyone passing that one, it would get that 20% discount. So I will add the promotion code here. Okay, special characters. So I'm gonna just concat that New Year, add promotion code. So this promotion code can alternate there. So right now let's go back to the home and we're gonna render another order. So click, and let's go in our order. By the way, we need to show the item here, how many orders we have. We can render that. Let's just go in our header. So in the header, we can now parsing the value to see if where we are having that. So in the header, we have our user. So we can go and grab that. From there, we can also make that our user ID should be coming from that await. It should be coming from our auth. And now here we can pass our like const. If we have our user ID, only then we will grab our orders. So it should be first we're gonna make the orders as null. So the orders should be null. And okay, we need to provide a variable which should be let orders null. And if we have the user ID, the orders should be is equal to await get my orders, and here we're gonna pass our user ID. So now we have our orders, and we can simply pass the orders criteria here. So as you see in the list ordered here, we can pass the value here. If we have our orders dot length, then it's gonna pass the orders dot length, otherwise 0. So we have 2 orders, we should be able to see 2 orders. You see, it's right there. Now we're going to create a proceed to checkout segment from this centralized system. And as you see, we have 166. We want to add a promotion code, should be new year. Okay, and if we apply, we should be having a 20% flat discount. As you see, 33.2 series minus is 20% discount. So let's go and we're gonna pay that amount, and then we're gonna see we can actually having that value here. So and hit pay. And after payment, we also kind of want to see one more things which we're going to create later on. But right now, the payment structure should be understandable, as you see. So right now, if we go back to see our orders, okay, yeah, that would not be go instantly, remember, because I forget to open my terminal, and here we need to use our for that webhook itself, remember. So otherwise it will not save. But after submitting that, no worries about that. I'm gonna show you in live mode how you can also set that webhook by itself. So let's click that, and I believe it's the same key it will be. So right now we're gonna create another order. Okay, so click that, and I'm gonna click some more. Okay, so I think we have 3 to 6. So without that webhook, our order, it will not be saved for sure. So new year, and I'm gonna apply that. So we're gonna have a flat discount here. So 4242, and valid month, CVC, valid name, hit pay, and we can contact the things. Okay, every single action is doing right, and we are good to go. Okay, one more thing is not circulated, which is coming error from the webhook. We can see our terminal that can cause the error. Okay, yeah, it's my bad again, because in the Sanity IO I changed my, remember last time, which I need to create a developer API segment. That's I deleted for my security purposes. So that's the same thing which is really giving me the issue. So in the API, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create another API, and then I'm gonna pass it to myself. Okay, right now I replace my token, so this should work this time. So I'm gonna try to create one more order. And you know, once you're building that, it can be go upside down, so no worries about it. You need to go and fix in that same way. So let's go proceed to checkout, and this time we will try to use a promotion code. So that should be again that new year, and apply that. So we have around this time is 58.60. So let's create one more. Okay, and hit pay. And here, I think this time it should work perfectly, as we also changed the key. Yeah, that's perfect. So we worked perfectly, and you see the order number is 3. If we go back to check is that, you see that Toulouse is working. So right now 293, and if you go here, Okay, we have the same value. So okay, here you see the discount. So that's the one, the last one, I think 234. If we go also in our this segment here for our transactions, we should be able to see that, yeah, 234 is the last one because it's having some discount, which we are encouraging to have that. Yeah, that's discount, stripe processing fees, and then also it's gonna have some key round figure. Now if we go back here itself, so we need to make this one design in a proper way. If you go here, you see it's not looks good. So what I'm gonna do, remember at the bottom layer, which we did here right now, so here at the bottom, not this one, the orders dialog, okay, not that. So we did for one div here, so we need to particularly do everything for other div also. So I'm gonna copy this, and here in that div and also in that div itself, I'm gonna just paste that value. So you see we have discount amount, we have a subtotal amount, then after that we have the total amount. So you can just make that up and down. I think it would be better if we just go and pass the subtotal at the top. Okay, so you have subtotal, then we have our discount flag, then we have our flash value. So now as you see, we did everything perfectly aligned, and I think and I believe that our application is really a pretty much compact to build in that segment. So what I'm gonna do, is time for us to deploy that in, to make it in live. And to do that one, we need to, first thing first, we will go back to our GitHub repo. And by the way, still, if you are with me, please like the video and subscribe the channel. As you see, we are doing something remarkable here. So now I'm gonna just go and I will create a new repositories. That would be like a not permanent, a temporary repository, because I'm gonna provide the link that on, I think, yeah, I'll create that because I want to provide you the code. So it should be Toulouse YT. Okay, I'll provide that code to yourself also. So first, right now I'm going to keep it as private because remember I have some keys which is right here. I would like to remove those key, only then I will make it public so that you can have everything. So I'm going to create the repository here, and also here I have one .gitignore file. So I will see. Okay, right now my env, it will not be delivered there because I don't want to pass that env file as credential is there, but later on I will pass on I want it to. So first thing first, what I want is that I'm gonna make that git add dot to add everything, and I'm gonna make a git commit message. Commit should be passing m, that should be, let's say, initial commit. Enter. So it will add everything. Okay, yeah, that's my bad. So before that also I need to initialize the git. So first one, it should be git init and git add dot git commit. So everything would be added perfectly. Okay, okay, what's wrong? I think it's okay. Let me clear. Let's say okay, git status. So I have everything here. So let's say git add dot, everything added, git commit initial commit. Okay, yeah, it's added. I just didn't get the key. So right now I want to pass that everything right here. So I'll just copy this portion and I'm gonna enter and pass everything in my repo right here. So it's gonna push everything. As you see, it's just formulating the messages, and trust me, whatever we build, everything will be aligned here, right? There should be two repo link. One, it will be like for the regular repo, which we are creating right now. Another, it will be for sustainable repo, which it will be LTS version. I'm gonna support that, and you can buy it from the store of that Buy Me a Coffee store. You can grab that, or you can just get it to just work with that. Okay, right now we passing everything in the repo. Let's go in my Vercel because we want to deploy it right now, and from that add new, I will add my project here. And from this segment, as you see Toulouse YT right here, I'm going to import it, and here as you see in the environment variable, I will go back to my file here and I'm gonna just hide it. Let's say .env, and here as you see, okay, let me just grab it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, accept those all. Stripe webhook is not required right now. So I can just remove a bit. I need that Stripe secret key, Sanity API token, dataset, Clark secret key, and also I need that next publishable key. So I'm going to copy those, and then I want to pass that. I'm going to just paste it here, so all the values should be pasted. So this will go along with me, and then deploy. So right now, as you see in my test flag here, node modules is not coming by default. So it's gonna just install all the dependency, and we're gonna go through it, because maybe we're gonna happen to be render some of the error. It can be normal if we are passing any error. It should be abnormal if you're not facing any error. Okay, we have one more error, and what is that? Let's see. It's just saying npm error, and it's not finding again npm error. Okay, the error is coming at the very first. What kind of error is that? Okay, which one we are using to build our application? We're using the npm. Okay, we need to pass that legacy variable. So what we're gonna do, let's go here. Is the project is initialized? I don't think so. Okay, it's not initialized. Okay, it's good, because we need to pass that legacy path dependency, otherwise it will not work, because you know the npm, it will not directly run on that similar instances. So you're gonna keep that, and after that, let me go here, and we also need one build output. So the build command should be install properties, and that one we can make that should be npm install, npm install, and we can know the legacy path dependency. So I think that previously we done, I think, did we use anything today with the legacy path dependency? Yeah, that's the one. So that's the line I need to copy, and here I'm gonna paste that legacy path dependency, deploy. So it will know that we need to run that legacy path dependency command to install all the variable. Right now it's just running that npm install, and it's not finding anything. That was the problem. So I think now it will be able to install all the dependency which is required. Okay, is initialized, and as you see, it's just creating the production build. So right now it's really working perfectly. And again, I'm saying to you, if you're facing any problem, let me know in the comments, because it's a very long build, so there would be a troublesome thing, can be having any problem, or can be some runtime issue. So feel free to reach me out and just describe whatever the problem you are facing. So right now we are facing some error, and we can fix that. One error is that in the cart page, which is loading is assigned. So now we'll go one by one. So first, let's go in the app on the client and on that cart page itself. So we assigned a loading button here, but we didn't use it. But why we assigned, that's really need to find out. We get the set loading properties, but did we use that? No, we didn't use it. We're making set loading, and where we are passing that handle checkout. Yeah, we can use that. How we can use that? Like, we can make it like disable. Once we have our loading instances, it will be the button, it will be disable, like the payment button. So once you go back to our any of the payment scenario, you see, once we click one time right now, because it can trigger two functions, if we click, you see it's disabled. So that's the one which we are finding out. We forget to just mention it here. So that's the one error which I think we done. So right now, after that, also in the success, the router ID, we need to include it. So let's go in the success screen. So go in the success page, and we need to add our router. So as you see, the router push is coming, so I will use it in the router. That is actually it's minor. Even you don't resolve it, it will be okay. So in the header, we have one icon, but we didn't use it. So let's go in the header. So that's circle fading arrow up, which we are not using. Then in the product grid, we have something. So product grid. So in the product grid, which we have is that we are using params and query. So that's the thing. Select the tab, and also whenever the query change, params change, that can be called, because both are running for that. So let's say we're gonna pass that params, and we're gonna pass our query. That's it. So I think that's the error by so far. So what I'm gonna do right now, we need to also go in the similar properties. So git add dot and git commit, let's say Vercel error resolved, and git push. So it will just add, commit, and push to our main. So right now let's go back at the top, because I think the project is initialized. So our first thing is run. As you see, the tool is running, so it will go the deployments for the second time. As you see, the second build is running, so the one which we just described here, and the first Vercel error resolved, that's the commit, our last one. So we start building that. Again, it will go with the same thing, but this time it will just take that our npm legacy path dependency, because it's know what we are really wanted from there. I think, yeah, black is good. Okay, so what is happening right now is just going to deploy again, and again maybe there could be some error, but once it's deploying, I want you to focus on that here in the developer. So on the developer option, as you see, we are having one button called webhooks, because right now you see the intricate health check and pick. We want start using web bench. We don't want to use that. Okay, why is coming like that? So yeah, that's the one. So webhook endpoints we want to add. Okay, let me go here and see. Okay, it's compiled, everything is compiled successfully. Now it's checking that linting, and okay, params. Okay, that's the product grid, we use that params, right? Okay, exploit svg element, the category, oh my god, the tag icon, that's really annoying. So the category type, I think that's can be having some problems. So what we're gonna do, we will remove all the icon right now, because this error is coming recently. Once we develop that, it was not there. So let's just comment that I will not use right now. So one, and also it's having in the orders. So let's go in the orders, remove that, and also it will be, did you use anywhere? 1 2 3. Okay, also in the media we use that. Okay, then we have in our product, in the product also we have one trolley icon, remove that and remove this. So after removing, let's see the scenario how it going to be look alike. If we go in our home page, and here if we go back to our studio, okay, you see that's having the problem, because in our product grid we cannot use these two, the query and params. So if we go here, and also if we go here, we can't use that. Yeah, we can't use that. Okay, we will see how we can actually fix those properties, but right now first initializing is that to remove those icons, because as is having the error. Okay, so if we are doesn't using the icon, let's see how it gonna be look alike in our here. Okay, not that much difference. So icon is not there. Okay, I think, yeah, that's icon, it's not that much difference itself. So I think we're good to go. So again, I'm gonna run the same command and pass everything there. And it can take a bit of time. If you are in a hurry, you can just pause the video and do your work, because it will take constantly a little bit of time to just go and rambling here. So once is again running from the beginning, here I want to add our endpoints, so add the destination. But right now, as you see, we can check the event, we can select the event, all event from here, but we can also like for the checkout event, and from the checkout we can select only that completed, or either you can check all. But remember, we use only that, so we can continue with this portion. But right now, as you see, we can, I think, yeah, if we continue, we need to provide the webhook endpoint, and here we need to check after deploy, we need to find an endpoint from here, only then we can pass the value. Right now we are passing the localhost. Localhost is by default, it's supported in locally, but we need to use our own endpoint after developing. Right, if we have our like the normal version here, which we are using, the Toulouse React VD, it's just coming from that API, then webhook, like that. So like that we are using on that endpoint. I'm not using right now because I just discharged that, because it's a very crazy operation is running every time it's running and making me an email for the pricing section. So I'll not go with that, but you can test it in a free version. There is a lot of code you can expose on that. So right now we can ignore that because as you see, okay, now everything is running properly. We are ignoring that because that can not make a like huge differences here. So right now, as you're having the deploying the output, so means everything working perfectly, and we are deploying our own website. You know, it's React, it's an X15 React 19, so everything in the latest mode. So that's the crazy. Everything you are happening here is all are responsive, and as you see, is authentication. Okay, cool. We are having our application. Okay, done. Now it will not fetch the product. Remember why? Because we need to set that as in the course value. Okay, we're gonna do that. First, we're gonna go here. Let's just go in our application. We'll come back again just to be forecasting how we want to showcase. So that's our application, Toulouse YT, and I want to rename that domains here as it's not. It's I think we can make that Toulouse YT. I think that way it can be accessible. Okay, add. So it will be Toulouse YT. If we see here, as you see Toulouse YT available, and here we will also make, if you want to just make our studio available, we want to add it in the course. So otherwise it will not be flexible on that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna copy this portion from here and let it just track the backend. But before it's taking that, I will go in our Sanity, and as it's just having and the like in the main application layer, so that Toulouse we're using. So for that portion, let's go at the setting, and from the setting in the course we need to add that. Where is the course? Uses, I think API, that's the course origin. So what I'm gonna do, add a new course origin, and here I'm gonna add my this layer also and allow credentials, enter. So from this one also, if I have the credential, I can access. As you see, that's the same thing is running to do that. So first, right now you see I'm getting my product. So one thing is done. Perfect. Now one more properties we need to also be defined. As you see this layer, I will copy that, and after copying in that application layer, let's go in the environment variables. Here I'm gonna use a new variable here. Remember, we use that next public base URL key for our success URL. So that's the one we need to predefine. Here it should be this one, and the value should be our application value, and it will not be / save. Okay, so we are running that, and one more property should be available also. Next, public stripe secret, and that one I think if we go in the webhook, I believe we create the key in a different layer. The name is different. It should be that webhook key. So I'm gonna add that one, and right now I'm gonna copy this portion, and here I'm gonna add should be API and webhook. Here it will be, and create the destination. So right now we can check that one. So if we go in the test event just to check stripe login, stripe trigger, okay, we can just go and we can just go through on that. So I believe it will go particularly for the webhook key. Right now I think no key require, yeah, because it will automatically handle this operation. So I think not require. I think it's require, yeah. We need to provide that, otherwise it will fundamentally be having some problem. So how, from where we can get the key? In that here, as you see the signing secret, so we can just, I'll reveal that. I will not reveal, I will just copy paste there. So I'm gonna post that video right now. So as you see, I just copy that and just paste it here. So I have my webhook stripe webhook key. So let's just go here. If everything working perfectly, we should be able to create all the scenario. For our first time, let's add some card. We are in live, right? Toulouse YT Versal is in live product. If we go in on the card, we need to sign in. Let's go sign in. I'll go with the Google properties, and I will go with simply, let's say, go with another. I'll go with that one. Okay. So there's a new account, continue with that, and after that we should be able to go to create other segment. First time it will coming because it's just going to additional scenario. Okay, I'll go in my app, go back to my application, as we later on it will not come. So now if we see, let's go in that card properties. Now we can go to proceed to checkout. All other action is working perfectly fine. It will work the way it is. Okay, the problem arises. What kind of problem we are facing? Let's go inspect in the console. An error occur in server components render specific must omitted in production builds to avoid leaking sensitivities. Property is included in this. Okay, install hooks. Okay, as it if I go in my tools, is it working? Okay, in the card. Okay, that is working, but what's the problem here? Okay, it should work, but if we go back here, what's the wrong we have been done? We have our actions, and then we have our older credential possibilities. So right now, here as we are passing, okay. That's really annoying. What's the problem here? Should be card item. Okay. Okay, that's not the minor problem. So what's actually we are missing right now, our session is not creating. So if we go and check here in our, let's say it in the logs to see what kind of okay, versus invalid. Okay, check out session ID or the number. Okay, invalid URL. You see, that is undefined. It's because it cannot handle that Vercel with like the next public with URL key. That's actually not the key is supposed to be. If we go here and if we go possibly to make that here in the project, we need to predefine how the value it can be setting up. So if we go in our environment variables, we are providing the variables as a next public base URL. And the problem arises because it's going with the next public base URL. So it's going to passing that from the process.env, which is actually we are not passing. And we can just go and create another probability, another possible things that to go and create a scenario. But first right now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to close that because it can hit with the several possibilities. For right now, I'm going to go and reload entirely and create posit to checkout. It's not working. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to just go shuffling like that. I'm going to directly passing that one for time being. Okay, later on we can fix that. We know how to fix it. It's very simple. We need to just go in a variable with the production data. With that same variable, we can just pass the value itself, and also that process.env, it will take a bit of time to take an action, but you know we're deploying, so we cannot wait that long to go with that same scenario. So I'm going to just go simply provide that, and after deploying, I think this time it will be resolving any error if we are facing here. So let's just deploy this one, and it's building. We'll wait to deploy it for itself. Okay, our deployment is done. So this time we should be able to, because we created it manually. So if we go and create the posit to checkout, and as you see, we are now landing in our posit to checkout screen. So we're going to go in a default variable 35. Okay, that's my bad. So it should be more for 1235, and then passing the name hit pay. So right now that should be talking here. So let's see how it's actually going to render and how it can be deciphered on that. So if successful payment is rerun, we should be just landing in our application layer in the success screen. Okay, we are in the success screen, and as you see, our order is collected. So you can now see the order value and everything. And also if you're coming here, I think you can just pass the event. I think it will be okay. We can go and see the log, and we should be able to see, you see the payment method, all the action is just coming right here, and you can just pass the value and see yourself what kind of things is happening and how it's working. So now as you see everything working perfectly, all the link it will be available in the description. In the description I'm going to provide my live link here because I don't want, because it will go with the bandwidth which I don't want to expense here. Now one more things, I will provide the triple link, but you need to be compromised to concat several things. If you are going to clone that, you need to change this value, right? Change this value to by itself, which the value it should be the process.env. And also what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass that .env file, which I'm gonna make all the credentials should be empty except that public URL. You should use your own credential to run that. So that's the changes which it will be. Others, all the code, it will be available. And again, the two links, it will be there. One for to buy the purchase that legacy code, which it will be supported, like we're gonna update each time if we are adding a new component. But this one, it will be static. Once at a time you can have it, then use it. I'm gonna make it as public once I'm gonna finish to push that. So once the video is deployed, uploaded, you're gonna have that too. So all the best to create each and everything from the beginning. I think you have a very good learning materials here. You know, you can have these things to entirely build and use it in a different method and learn a lot from here. So all the best. Create it, and if you did some changes to something magical, let me know in the comments. Provide me the link, whatever you did. I will try to mention that in my next video. So all the best. I'm gonna see you with another like a magical build in the next time.